Couple of big soccer matches coming up this week. We play here on Thursday and Saturday nights, and we'll get to play, I think it's the number 2 team in the nation also as we go into tonight. So Joe Berger is going to give us a preview. If you haven't been to a soccer match yet, they play out at the big complex at Sioux Park. Good seating, there's concessions available. So if you haven't taken in a match out there, I would encourage you to try to get to one of those 2 this week. It's a really good venue to watch a match. Joe?
Thanks for having me again. We were lucky we had one game this week, and we went to Mary of our 5th game of our five game set on the road, and we're getting really good at dealing with adversity. I think being a 5th game in the road kind of affected our guys a little bit, even though it was a short trip. I think they're ready to be home. I think the stress of school is getting on them. With that being said, we played a great good game with Mary. The end result was 3-0. We give up a goal about 10 minutes in, which is kind of par for the course for us as we fight the last 2 years. Just a silly mistake where we forgot to track a runner. We actually get a penalty kick to tie it up, and their goalie makes a great save, so it would have been 1-1. And then we probably played the best soccer that we've played all year for about 28 minutes. And then we reverted back to panic mode and hoofing the ball and doing. This is just sign of a young team. I think we're pretty lucky now that we have our next 7 games, 5 of them are at home. And it's kind of been fun dealing with the away teams this morning, wondering what the weather's like, where we're going to play. So I think they're kind of already mentally taking themselves out of it, which is good. But I think it's also a good thing to know that they will have tough games on the road, and they're worried about that. I think our reputation is good, and it's always hard to play on the road. I mean, just like any conference sport, if you're going to be successful in the league, you got to get points at home, like Tiffany said. You got to own your field and use your advantage to what it will, and we're lucky that we get to do this. The other thing is we're lucky is that we've seen everybody in our conference play once. And I think our kids are excited to prove that they have improved and will show better with the team. So I think we're excited about that. But I know they're really excited to be in class finally for the last 3 weeks of the semester and midterms and kind of going. Because I know as having a young freshman-laden team, that's been a big struggle with them with the stress of class and the amount of depth that they have to go into. So it's good to be home. We actually practiced last night for 45 minutes out in the mess just because we could be playing in that. So we were outside 45 minutes, and it was one of our better practices. The kids were focused in, out, and we were ready to go. So we're looking forward to the challenge. We play Simon Fraser in Western Washington. Simon Fraser is actually number 3 in the country. Just came over my phone about 6 minutes ago. So they're a quality side. They'll be closest thing to a Division I soccer team that we'll bring to Rapid City. They're athletic, they're big, they play good brand, they connect passes, really fun to watch. And Western Washington, we had played a great match with 2-1 at their place, so we're lucky to have them at home and really feel like we can get a result. So we're excited. The kids are getting better. They're actually, some of them are working hard in the weight room right now, so we'll strap on the boots and play, and hopefully the South Dakota weather doesn't change on us like it seems to have been going every 5 minutes, so that's good. Any questions for me? All right, thank you very much.
They must be saving all the questions for you, Stacy. They're all being bottled up here. I had a lot of people mention to me over the last couple days how enjoyable it was, and I know coaches won't like to hear this, especially Stacy, but in the loss, it was a fun game to watch, and it was. And I think people are getting excited because we're scoring some points, and we are a competitive football team. So I had a couple of emails from alums over the last couple days say they watched it on the computer and enjoyed the game, and we're making some great strides. The game this week is Saturday at 1 o'clock our time. We're playing it in Des Moines, Iowa. with Tiffin University out of Ohio. That's the first time we've ever, of course, played Tiffin. And it'll be an interesting game. We'll have it on the air at 12:40. And I'm looking forward to it. It's another team that we, of course, wouldn't have played if we're not D2. It's another exposure to another team in a different part of the country, and I'm very anxious. I'm getting more anxious every week to get to these games. It seems like it's a long way from Saturday to Saturday. Stacy probably has a different take on it, but here he is, head coach of the Hardrockers, Stacy Collins.
Well, thanks again for everybody coming out here to the luncheon today. Certainly played a very quality football team on Saturday. Missouri Southern knew they had speed. We'd seen it on tape. I think it's probably the fastest football team that's ever been on that field, in all honesty. And they got us out in space a few times. We were able to get some one-on-one matchups and take advantage of that. They're a well-coached football team. They're in a conference where, if you look at who they play against, they got the deck stacked against them. And I think they do some unique things with that triple option, their 3-3 defense, that have given them an opportunity to be 5-1 and really in the national picture. So it's great to play a quality Division II opponent. We certainly could have changed some things and hopefully could have stayed in it and not got behind. When you play a good option team that can control the clock, you can't give up the big play and you can't give it up early. We did that. I thought that early fumble they have, I think it was the first or second play of the game. If we can get on that changes it. Instead, they take a toss 70 yards, and it's the same guy I've seen take that same toss against everybody they did on tape. So that wasn't a big surprise, but we had some chances a couple times. We have a critical penalty. We got a 2nd-1 situation. We take a shot at the end zone. We don't get it. We get a penalty. Pretty soon we're sitting at a 52-yard field goal. I try to run a fake field goal. It doesn't work. So just a couple plays in there where when you're playing a quality football team, you got to make those plays. You got to find a way to create turnovers. You got to find a way to make a difference. But we'll move on. We'll play a talented Tiffin team. It's a unique situation playing in a neutral site. I've done it a couple different times, but not quite to this level. And so we're excited to play Tiffin, excited to see what we can do and get down to Des Moines and put our best foot forward. But we got a couple cuts, right, Brad, on this weekend's game. This was our first touchdown, and I tell you what, Derek Graves has just been done a great job for us this year. I think he's had a touchdown in almost every single game. I had an opportunity here where they snapped the ball to their punter, and it was a low snap. The punter took it on his knee, so it gave us great field position, but he's able to win a one-on-one route here. Just a tremendous catch, keeps his feet in. That's a big-time college football play right there, and Derek's done that for us. He had 3 touchdown catches in the William Jewell game, had this big one. That's been one of the biggest differences for us offensively this year, is the ability to get the ball downfield, to be able to stretch the field, to have some playmakers on that edge, and that's certainly been a huge impact for Derek Graves. He was also our offensive player of the game in this game, but that's a showtime catch right there. Here's our next touchdown of the day. A lot of times we're able to get them to jump off sides with a hard count, try to get a free play. So you'll see us work that progression quite a bit. Again, just a play action look with it. We get one of our running backs on a wheel route out of the backfield. It's a matchup we like. Chris Sadi, another senior for us, does a great job of securing the football and getting into the end zone. So we're still at 100% or 1,000% in the red zone offensively. That's unheard of. That's been a huge key to the success we have had. When the ball gets inside the 25-yard line, we're scoring, and we need to keep that trend up because not putting points on the board when you're in that area is a huge momentum changer. We've been able to do that, and that needs to be a continued focus of what we're doing. But nice little gadget play. Great job by Chris Sadi, and a nice setup for our second touchdown of the game. Last one, we're down here, tied on the goal line, just a quarterback sneak with Evan. O-line does a good job inside. We got 2 big quarterbacks with both Evan and Ben, so you've seen us run them quite a bit, and we got a big O-line, and they're doing some good things. So it was just nice to be able to punch this thing in from the 1-yard line and get some points on there. So 3 good scoring drives right there. Certainly would like to put a few more points on the board, but we've done a really nice job offensively of doing that all season long. Okay, players of the week, I talked about Derek, and the catch he had, and just consistency and the leadership he's given us both on and off the field. Miguel Flores is a senior defensive end for us, and Miguel was banged up a little bit early in the season, also a track athlete for us, does a great job, but he played tremendous on Saturday, was our defensive player of the week. John Keating, our punter, had a phenomenal day. He had 4 punts. He was about 49-yard range. Our net punt was about 47 yards, which is phenomenal. So we were able to turn the field. We had 2 times we had him inside the 10-yard line. I thought we did a great job with our punt unit, and John had a great day. It was good to see him be consistent on all of his punts on Saturday. And then we have a Hardrocker of the Week, a guy who, sometimes it's a player, sometimes it's people outside the box. But Greg Hodgson, who's our football ops guy, assistant special teams coach for us, I tell you what, he was here till Tuesday night at 1:30 with a crew, and they got that football field cleaned. We couldn't practice on our field on Tuesday. I had to go in the Civic Center, but they wouldn't leave till it was done. Just did a tremendous job. And he also headed up our efforts with Military Appreciation Day, so we were able to get some things done through the National Guard, the Air Force, and all the local armed services here. So Greg did a tremendous job on both those pieces and allowing last week to happen. And the last one was our pickaxe player of the game, and that was Nico Taliulu. And I tell you what, I didn't think Nico was going to play. He sprained his MCL on Wednesday practice, just a freak deal. And he is a tough son of a gun because he played all game long. And if you saw their nose guard, I mean, that dude was about 6'5", 280, all man. And he stuck on him all day long, competed all day long, and just did a tremendous job playing with a sprained MCL. So Nico did a great job. Any questions I can answer for you about the Missouri Southern game or upcoming game against Tiffin?
Okay. Are you comfortable, Stacy, continuing probably throughout the season with the quarterback system?
Yeah, I think we're set on that. We've really packaged it up, tried to work that to both their strengths. We talked about it before. I never thought I'd ever have a 2-quarterback system this long, but it's been a unique situation. It's worked well for both those young men. It's worked well for us offensively, and shoot, it's been good. So we'll continue to do that. Yeah, Tiffin, they're in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and most people know Grand Valley State from there because they've been a perennial, national championship contender. But it's a big conference. There's a lot of schools in there. Good football. No, William Jewell, they're in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, so they're both the GL. There's a couple. They're similar, but it's a bigger conference on that piece. Saginaw Valley's in there. There's a hosted crew of guys teams that are in there, but they're talented. They had a talented quarterback, young. They're playing a freshman quarterback. He's a big athletic kid. They're real talented on the edges when you see them. Their receivers, their skill, big offensive line. Defensively, they're primarily a 4-3 team. They'll bring a lot of pressure. They've been in some really close games. Trying to. It's always tough when you're playing an independent schedule because you're seeing teams from all these different conferences, and it's really hard to get a gauge. But they played a couple teams that William Jewell played, so you kind of try to look at those and see where they're at. But they're a well-coached football team. Coach Goff he's got a strong background offensively. He also runs with their offense. They'll do a lot of things on that end. Talented. They're in Ohio, so you see a lot of tough, hard-nosed football players, and it'll be a great challenge for us. And to me, it's very similar to the William Jewell game where you're playing a very quality Division II opponent on the road. Even though it's a neutral site game, it's a quality Division II opponent on the road, and it'll be great to see where we gauge in that.
Do you have a plan to keep them down 14 points?
I was going to ask you that because my plan's not working. I'll tell you that much right now. I'll tell you what, it's frustrating because you certainly don't want to spot people that kind of points, and we're working, we're trying, but I'm all ears right now because I haven't got it figured out. Yeah, the first one is make sure we can slow Missouri Southern down. Tom told me to let the grass go long last week, so I tried, but we couldn't get it. We mowed it a little too early, I think, but we got to find a way to not play from behind. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much again for coming. Again, this week we have soccer both Thursday and Saturday at 6:30, I believe, both nights, Joe. And then, Tiffany, did you say we had volleyball next Monday night? And that's at 7 o'clock, and that's against Western New Mexico. Okay, anything else? Well, actually, we got a little bit of time. We do have the teams open practice. Jason, you just want to say a couple things? Yeah, why don't you just take... Now, I always put Henry on a short leash because 1 or 2 questions could end up 4 o'clock this afternoon.
My turn. Yeah, I'll just make it quick, but we do start today officially. Coach Larson obviously is the new women's coach, and we'll both be in there. Actually, they were in this morning doing their workouts, and I know he was pretty excited about having the girls here and getting out of the preseason part that, you know, a lot of the coaches will do their two-a-days that come in the fall, and they're really looking forward to it, especially the student athletes of not only school starting, but the fact they don't have to go a couple times during the day. It's the same thing in basketball. You know, we have basically 6 weeks and get on the track, we get in the weight room, but we only can go 2 hours of basketball. So for basketball players and only allow them to, you know, have a basketball in their hand for 2 hours, they kind of go crazy. But what they don't understand is the coaches are kind of the same way. You know, we want to get on the court, watch the guys compete, you know, get some of our stuff in, and away we go. So we're excited about this year. Coach Larson, same way. He was excited about this morning's practice. We go at 6 o'clock tonight. And then both of us open up in Dickinson on November 1st. We have our first exhibition game, and then we can open up for real on November 8th. And I believe the 14th is our first home game, and then the 15th for the women, and then we both play the night of the 16th. And I think we play 4 different teams between the two of our teams. So it's kind of a crazy schedule. All of that's posted online and whatnot. But like Coach Collins said, is playing all these independents or an independent schedule is, I think we have 9, maybe even 11 teams this year that we play, and probably the first time in school history, but first time that since I've been here for 12 years that we've played some of those teams. So don't know a lot about them other than, for us, most of them won their conference or were at the national tournament last year, and we're going to have our hands full, but our guys are ready for it. So I don't even know if I should ask for questions. Should I ask for questions? Any questions? Talkative group. We got a lot of people here today, and nobody wants to ask questions, but... We do. We lost three players from last year, 3 starters. We lost our point guard, which was a crazy deal, and we can talk about down the road, but he actually had to transfer because in the NCAA, he wasn't eligible to play another year, but he wasn't NAI. So just talked to their coach a couple weeks ago, and they're happy as can be to have him in their program, I'll tell you that. We lost him, of course, and then we lost 2 of our senior shooting guards. So we have 3 guards to replace. We brought in 3 point guards and had 1 in our program. So between those 4 guys, you know, we had a lot of guys back. We keep talking about soccer and even football and especially volleyball, playing 4 and 5. Young kids. I mean, freshmen. It's crazy, and I've been there and done that, and I don't like it either. But those kids, you can see that improvement. There's some excitement about that. There's no question about it. But we actually have some older kids playing this year, which is great. But then the one spot where you try to be, you know, the quarterbacks or, you know, the setters or whatever that you want in their program and have some experience, we're actually going to be new kids to our program. So as excited as we are to be kind of veterans out there, we're going to have some new ones. So with our recruiting, and then on 2 guard, you know, we recruited in, that's a transfer as well. So between those 2 spots, we knew we had to fill because of our situation of losing them to graduation and kind of a unique deal with the NCAA. Anything else?
Is something going on tomorrow?
We do. We have our coaches clinic. We haven't done it for 3 years. Is this a good pub? You want to talk about it? All right. We bring in a couple coaches, and because once again, some of the NCAA rules, we can't have 4-year coaches talking, and we do a coaches clinic. So we usually bring in a junior college guy and a high school guy from outside the area, and we haven't been able to do it the last couple of years because with the NCAA, we don't start practice until the 15th, which is today. We used to be able to start on the 1st, and then we try to have our clinic on the 16th or, you know, soon after that first Wednesday. And we started again this year because we pushed back our game. So we're actually having it tomorrow night. Part of that clinic is our guys practicing and showing different drills to area coaches, but it's, you know, we have coaches that come that teach junior high, and we have a couple college coaches that do come over too and listen to the guys coming in. But we have Dean Winchesky coming in from Minot, North Dakota. He's coming up to speak. He's a high school coach there. been a 2 or 3 time state champ, 2 or 3 time coach of the year, and bring him up. And then a junior college guy from Bismarck, North Dakota. They actually got 2 North Dakota guys because they can jump in the car and drive together. But Joe Mueller's coming up, and he's taking over the program there, and you know, got a couple guys on his team. As we do with all our recruits, is try to recruit a couple junior college guys as well, and bring in some experience. So he's going to come up and talk to some area coaches as well. And then our guys do some things as far as the drills and stuff. They get to go on the floor with them and you know, show the area coaches some drills. Great question though, Brad. Thanks for the publicity. Can you get that in the paper tomorrow too for me? All right. Anything else? All right. We'll bring Tom back up. Thank you.
And speaking of Brad, you know, GoRockers.com has all our athletic information, video and statistics and stories, and Brad does a great job on that. How many of you, raise your hand if you have a Facebook page? Betty, that's good. How many? I didn't see. Now, who's got a Facebook? Who does? Well, join Hardrock Club if you're on Facebook, because we have prizes every week. It's a fun contest. Later in the couple of weeks, we're going to be giving away a skybox for the last game of the season, which would be good for a group of friends. So join us on Facebook. Broadcast time 12:40 for our game over in Des Moines on Saturday. And I'd like to just, Duff and Betty have been here, and Don and Mars, but we have a very special guest too for lunch today, because the Christensen Hall of Fame is provided by the family of Nancy Christensen. It's nice to have you here, Nancy. Thank you for coming. Anybody have any questions for me? I always feel left out in this.
Actually, isn't it 12:40 our time?
12:40 our time. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff over there. Did you know that, Stacy?
We get a call on different kickoffs about every day.
Oh.
So we will be in Des Moines, but I believe it's 12 o'clock Central Standard Time.
12? Oh. Okay, on Tiffin's schedule it says 2.
Welcome.
When you get ahead 14-0, they don't show up.
Yeah, don't water it down. It's starting to make sense.
What time is the game in 2 weeks?
1 o'clock.
Stay tuned. That's all I can tell you is stay tuned. Just put your radio on Saturday and leave it on all day, and I'll come on sometime and get off sometime. So thank you very much. We'll see you next Tuesday.